What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sports Talk with Will. Tonight, I'm recapping. What day is it? I think it's day 15. Yes, day 15 of New York Jets training camp. The Jets, yesterday, flew to Charlotte as they will have two joint practices with the Panthers, and then they will play week 2 of the preseason on Saturday at Bank of America Stadium. So today was the first joint practice, and they it looks like there was a pretty slow start to the practice. Jets had a slow start to the workout. Began at 9:30 a.m. CJ Mosley says, quote, "The cons of being the guest and going to joint practices, we have to get ready a little quicker. It took us a little while to sort of get in the zone. But once we got warmed up, it started to get a little bit competitive. Fun to be out there going against another team, but overall felt like it was a good day." Garrett Wilson, he had a touchdown early. He got one early, and then he had one later on in practice, continuing to be the dominant the one of the dominant performers on offense. And yeah, he said, "I'm not exactly sure why we started slow. We're going to go back and talk about it. I know personally I have got to dig deep and find that and be part of the reason we have energy as soon as we go out there. I have to be part of the reason we are ready to go, and today I felt like I was part of the sheep. That can't be the case. We have got to be ready to roll." Interesting quote there. Getting on the topic of offense, mixed bag for the Jets. The Panthers got 4 takeaways on the Jets offense today. Jets um, started clean with Breece Hall. He operated behind all 5 projected starters, operating behind all 5 projected starters on the offensive line. Got a handoff from Aaron Rodgers and found room down the right sideline for a big game. And then after Rodgers got a free play because of the Panthers jumping offside, took advantage with a nice pass to Garrett Wilson back of the end zone for a touchdown. And then 2 plays later, Rodgers found rookie Malachi Corley for a quick hitter close to the goal line. But then here's where it kind of gets ugly, where all the turnovers start to happen, and then the offense starts to struggle against the Panthers defense. Rodgers threw a pass to Allen Lazard. It was deflected, and then it was intercepted by safety Alex Cook. And then later, in a move the ball team period, Garrett Wilson ran a really nice route to get away from a Panthers defender, and Rodgers was on time with a perfect delivery to get the Jets in business. Then a couple of plays later, Rodgers, apparently showing no ill effects from his Achilles tendon injury, he rolled out and he found Xavier Gibson for another chunk gainer. And then they ended the drive when rookie Braylon Allen did a nice cutback along the left side past the goal line for a score, but he was actually ruled at the 2. And then a little after, Breece Hall, which this doesn't usually happen, lost a fumble inside the 5 that the Panthers recovered. I did not mean to click out of that. And then on another play, Aaron Rodgers tried to get a pass to Garrett Wilson in the corner of the end zone, but intercepting that pass was linebacker Trevin Wallace. But good thing is the dynamic duo of Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, they rebounded later on. They drew a long pass interference penalty on a sky ball when an open Garrett Wilson was hauled down, was was interfered got was interfered by cornerback Deshaun Jameson. Then good thing is they ended the practice on a good note. Final possession, short score in the corner of the end zone. Garrett Wilson said this to reporters. It is always good to have someone else across from you. Competed today with a good team. They have a good cornerback room. So for our receiver room, it was a good day and a good experience for us to get out and see how we are stacking up. We started slow, which can't happen, but it is going to happen. And we found a way to bounce back and finish strong. And then practice ended when Tyrod Taylor, he was leading the second team. He was intercepted by defensive back Damani Richardson when Taylor had a bad pass over the middle. So offense, even though there were struggles shown by the offense, which this is what's going to happen. You're going to have struggles on the offense. Like, this isn't a shocker. There's going to be times where you're struggling and you throw a lot of interceptions. There's going to be times where you turn the ball over a lot. There's going to be a ton of times where you struggle to get the ball downfield. It's not always going to go well, but even though they struggled, they still had they still had moments in practice where they could move the ball. There was turnovers, but then on the drives where there was no turnovers, the Jets were moving the ball. Whether it was just the precision on every throw that Aaron Rodgers makes, or it's great running from Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. It's good that. What am I trying to say? It's a mixture of struggles, but also success in moving the ball downfield and really doing well on multiple offensive possessions. So even though the Jets, even though the Jets struggled on offense with the turnover, with all those turnovers they had, they still found ways to keep the offense moving downfield quickly. So good job there by the Jets. They didn't say anything about the defense though. I'm not sure about that. Okay, here we go. Defense. So moments before practice started, Jets head coach Robert Saleh told reporters that Quinnen Williams would not participate in the joint session. Saleh said, "We're not going to have Quinnen up today. He's dealing with a sore shoulder, so we didn't feel like it was necessary to get him rolling. We're not concerned. If this was a game week, we'd be rolling, but no concern." And then in the first team period, Panthers quarterback Bryce Young completed his first two passes in the red zone against the Jets defense. Second drill, Young found wide receiver Terrence Marshall for a touchdown over DJ Reed. So Reed, now I'm seeing Reed is getting burnt a lot in practice. He got burnt when it was just the Jets offense versus the Jets defense, and now he's getting burnt by the Panthers. I'm not sure how he did against the Commanders, but DJ Reed getting burned again. But again, but let me just be honest. You're not always gonna win your battle. You win your one-on-one matchups with receivers. I'm talking from the perspective of the cornerbacks. You're not always gonna win your matchups with the receivers. You will win some, but you'll lose some. That's just how it works. Marshall, and then here's what led to a scuffle. Marshall decided to throw the ball at Reed's feet as a celebration, and then the refs threw a flag, and then that's what led to a fight between the Jets and the Panthers. So there was a scuffle right there. I think that was the only scuffle though. But moving on from that, second year cornerback Jarek Bernard Converse had a nice pass deflection against quarterback Jack Plummer, and defensive tackles Tanzel Smart, Javon Kinlaw had, they say, would be sacks of Young, and safety Chuck Clark had a big hit on running back Chuba Hubbard, and Hubbard was slow to get up from was Hubbard didn't get up immediately after that hit, so it took him a while to get up. CJ Mosley said practices are cool when you're at home, but when you're away, you have to adjust to certain things and you don't get the schedule that you would when you're getting ready for practice. I try not to make a big deal about it because I am at the point where I am not even playing in preseason games, so these joint practices are like my game days. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, uh, Rookie tackle Olu Fashanu continued his cross training on the right side, did a good job while working with the second team. Um, had a good block for rookie running back Isaiah Davis for a touchdown run that was over 20 yards. Wide receiver Lance McCutcheon, second-year player from Montana State, turned in his most productive day at camp. With wide receiver Garrett Wilson seemingly everywhere on the field, he got space over the middle with a Panthers linebacker trailing. Aaron Rodgers found the third-year wideout for a long gain, so he's catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. That's good. So look, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is throwing balls to, they're the main receivers, but he's also getting the new guys, the rookies, the youngsters. Though it's good that he's able to connect with multiple guys. If 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 he continue, hopefully, if he continues to show that, hopefully, if there's a situation where these youngsters have to be put in the game when Rodgers is out there, they'll be ready and they'll be able to catch passes from Rodgers to keep the ball moving, keep the offensive production high, hopefully this year. The Jets will have a walkthrough on Friday. Okay, so no practice. It's just a walkthrough. Um so no getting on the field tomorrow. And then they will conclude their trip to North Carolina with Saturday's game against the Panthers. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Robert Saleh said, "We've got another inter-squad scrimmage next week versus the Giants. We're getting a lot of reps, a lot of quality reps, and just looking at the overall body of work throughout training camp, whether or not our guys need that extra work, we'll make that decision when it comes to it." So, so I mean, the Jets had had their struggles on offense and defense today, but even though they had struggles, they also had moments where they really did well on both sides of the football. So a balance of struggles, but also um uh but not too much struggles, a little bit of struggles, but also a little bit of a little bit of success. That's really the way to put it there. So, yep, that's gonna do it for day 15 of New York Jets training camp. Again, I'm not gonna count the walkthroughs because what am I supposed to say about walkthroughs? So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I will recap. I should have a recap of the Jets Panthers preseason game, week two of the preseason. Should have a recap of that game. Should have one on Saturday. If not, it'll be on Sunday, and then I will be back recapping Jets practices. I think they'll have probably, well, yeah, they'll probably have like one or two practices. Probably one or two practices. Um, uh, one or two practices by themselves, and then they'll probably have a joint practice with the Giants, walk through, and then they play the game on. I believe that's a Saturday game. Yeah. So yeah, that's my guess of what the schedule looks like for the rest of training camp. When do the roster cuts start? When do the roster cuts start? When are the first? Sorry. When are they first? When are the first? When are the first roster? When are the first NFL roster cuts? There we go. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Well, I just need the schedule. Okay. The first cut, final cut day. Okay. So when's the first cut day? You could have said when the first cut day is. Um. Well, I could tell you the final cut day, the day that all 32 NFL teams must have their rosters reduced to 53 players. That'll be on at 4 p.m. Eastern time on August 27th. And then the regular season begins the week of September 5th when the Kansas City Chiefs host the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football. That opens the 2024 season. Rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure when the first cut day is. Okay, so they could probably start. Okay, so they probably start cutting guys. I think they start cutting guys right now because the first preseason week already happened. So, um, but I haven't heard any. I mean, let me. Sorry, this is a little longer video. I just want to keep. I want to stay on top of. I want to stay on top of the Jets right now. Be focused with them during the regular season. I'm not going to recap every practice. I'll probably come on here for videos of like news, like oh, um, yeah, probably news of like if I don't know, maybe a I don't know, not a maybe if some like some 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 crazy thing happens or like like an injury, uh maybe some issues going on. Well, hopefully there's very few of those, but there's going to be times in the season where there's going to be some issues going on with the team. I mean, we may not know I mean, the thing is they may be happening behind closed doors, so us fans don't may not know what's going on. But there might be some that's like, "Oh, geez." But we'll see. I hope that there's not very many um issues going on between the team inside the facility and inside the locker room. I hope everything. I mean, I hope they can all uh, work together um, and push each other to do the best they can, and um, and but they got to be ready to. But again, the Jets have to be ready to face adversity. There's going to be points of the season where you got to face adversity. There's going to be a point in the season where we have a little losing streak, and then we're like, oh, this isn't going well. So the Jets have to be ready to face adversity. Thing is, what I've seen in the past is the Jets don't, whenever the Jets get expectations, they never, ever live up to them. Like you remember last year, this will be the video's the video's almost over. I know this is a bit long, but I just want to get this out. If you remember last year when the Jets they ended their 5-game losing streak with a 30-6 win over the Houston Texans at home. That was we won and we beat the Texans week 14. The next week, we head to Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. And there's expectation. It's like, okay, you beat Houston. Now basically have to, well, let's see, our record at that time was, I think was it 5-8, I believe? Yeah, it was 5-8. It was 5-8. If we would have say beat Miami 6-8, beat Washington 7-8, beat Cleveland 8, we would have had to pretty much we had to win out. But it was like, are the Jets going to live up to that expectation? Well, no. They got shut out by the Dolphins, knocked out of playoff contention for the 13th consecutive season. I believe that's what that is. Yeah. Listen, I mean, people that the Jets fans that are talking about this year winning the Super Bowl, you can't just, there's a big, there's a, it is a long, grueling journey to one, get there, and to two, win the day, to win the Super Bowl. I mean, first step is making the playoffs. The Jets have not been able to do that since 2010, so they got to do that first. Then after that, it's winning the wild card game because we're not getting the number one overall seed. We're not getting the first seed in the AFC. That's probably good. That's probably going to be. I'm thinking that's probably going to be Kansas City or Baltimore. Getting that number one overall seed. Winning the wild card game, winning the divisional game, winning the AFC Championship, which is usually the farthest which is the farthest we've gone in our recent playoff appearances. You got to get past there, make it to the Super Bowl, but then you got to win the Super Bowl. Again, making the Super Bowl but losing the Super Bowl, you can't be happy about that. You were one win away from winning a championship. You can't be happy about that. No. You want to win it. You don't want to just make it. You want to win it. People are like, yeah, I mean, you got to understand, winning the Super Bowl is a much different thing, it's much different. You have a different feeling of winning the Super Bowl as opposed to making the Super Bowl and then losing it. But I mean, I shouldn't really be talking about the Super Bowl because I root for the New York Jets, one of the most cursed franchises in the NFL. So why should I be talking about a Super Bowl? Oh, because we have Aaron Rodgers, 40 years old, coming off an Achilles injury. They said today his mobility was good, but will it really be good on that MetLife turf? Just saying. So, I don't know. I'm gonna try and not let my emotions get the best of me this year. I'm gonna try and what I meant to say is I'm not gonna let the Jets control my emotions this year, because for the past few years I've just gotten really angry, and right now I can't let them do it again. I need to just, I'm taking a different approach to this season. I'm ready for this to fail. I'm prepared for this to go bad. And if it goes bad, it's gonna be chaos. The fan base is gonna implode. Everybody's gonna lose it. Things are not gonna go well. There's gonna be turmoil in the organization, and then everyone gets fired, and then we have to start from scratch again. I'm ready. I'm prepared for that to happen. Obviously, I want them to do well, but I'm prepared for it to go horribly. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm not going to freak out. I'm going to be like, is this a shocker? It's the New York Jets. But again, I want them to do I don't want that to happen to them. I want them to win I want them to win the Super Bowl, but will they actually do it? Probably not. But again, you never know. Things happen. There've been crazier things that have happened, but let's just, stay healthy throughout the rest of this preseason. There's this whole talk of Aaron Rodgers not playing at all in the preseason, which, I mean, I understand, but at the same time, it's like, I'm kind of half and half on that. It's like, if you're going to play him in the preseason, you play him in the final game against the Giants, and you bring him in for like 2 drives. That's probably about all you do. Other than that, it's like, that's all you're going to see of Aaron Rodgers in the preseason, because I think he only had 2 drives in that preseason finale last year against the Giants. So it's probably going to be the same this year if he plays. I think he should. I mean, actually, I think he should play because he needs. I mean, yeah, he's been getting all his practice reps, but we need to see it, see what we need to have him go through a rep of an actual game to be in an actual game. I know it's not the regular season, but it's a football game. This isn't a practice. This isn't a game. This is a game in a big stadium. So that's what we need to do. I mean, obviously it's not going to be, I mean, the fan noise, the crowd at a preseason game is not going to be like the crowd of a regular season game. It's probably going to be crowded because everyone you want to see Aaron Rodgers play, and I do too. I thought I was going to see it last year. I went to the week 3 game against New England, but then we saw what happened 4 plays into the season in week 1 against the Bills. And then I didn't get to see him. I've only seen one future Hall of Fame one certain future Hall of Fame quarterback play the Jets in person, and that's Tom Brady. I saw the Patriots play the Jets in 2015, which before last season's win in Foxborough was our last win over New England. And I got to see Tom Brady, and I got to see us beat Tom Brady, which was great. Patriots were plagued with injuries heading into that game. I'm just stating the facts. They were, but they still could beat. They still had a big chance of winning that game, but as you know, the coin toss when Matthew Slater chose to actually kick the ball to the Jets, and I was like, wait, did he say he wanted to kick the ball? And he did. And what happened? Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Jets offense drove down the field. Fitzpatrick lobs one up to Eric Decker in the right corner of the end zone. He catches it. The Jets win. That was the loudest I've ever heard MetLife. That was the loudest I've ever heard MetLife Stadium in person. That place was absolutely rocking. That place was buzzing. It was so loud when they caught that pass. I was hugging my fam. I was celebrating with my family and all the other Jets fans. That was such a great game. A late Christmas present, a win over a win over the what's the word? I'm trying to poke fun at the Patriots. A win over our most hated rival. That's how I'm just gonna put it. Our most hated rival, the New England Patriots. It was good. It was great to see that. And then I was like, hey, I'm about to see another future Hall of Fame quarterback play, but for the but he's playing for the Jets though. Aaron Rodgers, but didn't get it. I was like, I'm ready. I'm so excited to see Aaron Rodgers destroy the Patriots. It's going to be beautiful. I was like, this is going to be beautiful. Aaron Rodgers is about to go destroy the Patriots. And unfortunately, he didn't play. Well, first of all, he didn't play. We lost. And it was a terrible game on offense. But I'm going to stop rambling. Yes, so the Jets don't practice tomorrow. It's a walkthrough. They play on Saturday against the Panthers. Kickoff for that game is 7 p.m. Eastern at Bank of America Stadium. The game will be on NFL Plus, but if you are a Jets fan and you live in the New York, New Jersey area, you should just be able to watch it on the local CBS channel. So you should be good. You should be good there. But if you're um, not in that area, you can watch it on NFL Plus, or you get Sunday Ticket or whatever you got. But um, yeah, I plan to watch that game too. Figure out a way to do that. But for now, I will see you guys later, and go Jets.